We're live at Gregory Gym for this edition of Crossfire. We're breaking down the Texas tip-off and a whole lot more next on College Crossfire.
I guess we'll get into it, guys. Always enthusiastic, unbelievable, hard-nosed.
Roll up the sleeves for this one.
This Dallas team was very overrated from the start, like they always are every year.
The talent there, Kevin Mack, Eric Davis, and Cohen Roach are maybe three of the most talented guys in the team.
Oh, that's an ugly shirt.
Always a pleasure having you on, guys.
Time to freak out.
Good evening and welcome in the College Crossfire. I'm your host, Mark Skoll Jr. Thanks for joining us on your Wednesday night. Hour-long show coming your way, and as you can tell, not our usual location. We're outside of Gregory Gym for the Texas tip-off. And guys, it's going to be a fun show. To my left, Nick Kuhlholz. Great to have you on tonight,
Glad
man.
to be back.
Defending champion.
Yeah, looking to defend the title, so I'm trying to go back-to-back.
His only win ever last week on Crossfire. Looking to go for number 2. Katarina Biancardi in the middle.
Hi, Mark.
How are you doing tonight, Katarina?
I'm doing good. Thank you for asking.
Glad to have you on, Katarina. And on the end, can't forget about him, Joe Morris. Joe, great to have you on.
Yeah.
All right,
Nick,
Joe,
you're looking
Joe's
good.
excited.
Thank you.
Nick's showing me up with his
Yeah,
tie.
he is a little.
I'm also
prepared.
showing you up, Mark.
Joe's showing me up with his polo. It's going to be a great show. All right, guys. We just saw the Texas tip-off. It was a 58-49 win. The orange team beat the white team. But who stood out to you in this game, Nick?
I like Dylan Osakowski the most. He stood out to me a lot in the tip-off game last year. Obviously, he was going as hard as he could because that was the only game he could play in. But now, I like what he brought again this year. He's locked and loaded. He's ready to go to play in this season, finally eligible. 6'8", 225 pounds. He's a beast inside the paint, but he can also play outside as well. I like what he can do as a perimeter player, but on top of that, he brings incredible basketball IQ for the Longhorns. I'm excited to see what he does in his first season eligible.
Osakowski, he was playing in this Texas tip-off game last year, was not eligible for the season, transferred from Tulane, but should be a solid addition for the Longhorns this season. Katarina, who impressed you?
Who impressed me is the guy with the most amount of hype, and that is Mo Bamba. Mo Bamba is an NBA talent caliber guy we got going on here at Texas, and he truly was the one bringing the offense and draining threes and blocking well on defense. He also led tonight's game with 17 points, so I'm really impressed with Mo Bamba, and he is truly going to be a leader for this team, and really hope that he lives up to the hype that he has put on right here so far.
Feeling a big void with Jared Allen leaving for the NBA draft, and I think Mo Bamba might even be better than
I agree. I completely agree.
Allen. All right, Joe, who impressed you?
When you look at last year, James Banks was one of the worst players on the field.
On the field, yeah.
On the field.
He's terrible on the field.
Oh, even worse on the court. So tonight, what you saw from him, he made a couple of shots. He wasn't too impressive on that, but his defense looked a lot better from last year. And going forward, that's going to be really important for the Horns because their defense really needs to improve as a team and individually.
Joe, I'm going with you here. I know Osakowski's going to be good. Mo Bamba's going to be good, but we need to see what's going to happen on the bench. The bench last year, obviously not one of the strengths for the Longhorns. It'd be nice if James Banks is able to step it up this year for the Horns. All right, Joe's getting started with the point, moving on. Obviously, last year was not the greatest year for the Texas basketball team. The Longhorns finished 11-22 with one of the top recruits in the country, Jared Allen, on the team. He's gone now as he was drafted by the Nets in the first round. So who needs to step up this year for Texas basketball for this season to be considered a success? Kat?
Well, my response comes in a two-package answer.
Wow.
Two-package answer.
Way to be predictable.
Way to be predictable. All right, well, I'll tell you why, Mark. We have to first step up with Matt Coleman. Matt Coleman is the point guard piece that Texas desperately needs. But we also have to pair him with a guard, and that is Andrew Jones. Andrew Jones tried to be a point guard last year, but let's face it, folks, he is not a point guard at all. He is a shooting guard. Those two together need to step up so they can be playmakers, they can make plays for Texas, get points, score baskets, and that together is my package deal.
Oh, I thought you were going to go Mo Bamba with the package, package for two answers.
Nope,
So
nope.
actually, I like that.
All right, he likes my response for the first time.
That's a good answer. All right, Joe?
Well, when you look at the last two big-time recruits to hit Texas, both were centers and both did not play well the first month of the season. Both Jared Allen and Miles Turner struggled out the gate on their freshman years, and that kind of cost Texas a couple of key games early in the season. So if Mo Bamba can come out strong, then Texas has a good chance of coming into Big 12 play with a good record and a spot in the forerunning for a tournament spot.
Mo Bamba, a top 5 recruit in the country. He should make an impact right away. He should. We don't know if he will. Miles Turner he was the 6th man coming off the bench for Rick Barnes, but we'll see. Nick?
I'm going with Kerwin Roach on this one for 2 main reasons. We know he's athletic. We saw that his freshman year, and we've seen him jump out of the gym. His vertical is something that absolutely incredible. Another reason why he needs to step up, when you bring in a guy like Matt Coleman, that takes pressure and duty off of Kerwin Roach. He doesn't have to be the starting point guard now. He's the backup point guard who'll play the 2 or 3 also when he's on the court the same time as Coleman is. We know Kerwin can play. He struggled a bit last season. He shot much better his freshman year compared to what he did last year in sort of a sophomore slump. I guess when your team goes 11-22, kind of everybody had a slump. But Kerwin Roach, when he plays well, the entire team plays well.
Nick, I'm going with you. I really liked your point, Katarina. I really did. But
Okay, Mark. I see how it is.
Andrew Jones was the only player left from last year's team who averaged over 10 points a game, and he's back. So he obviously performed well enough last year. Kerwin Roach has been this prize recruit from Houston, and he just really hasn't gotten it together yet, and would love to see him finally piece it together, and this is a good chance to do it with that backcourt and frontcourt looking strong this year. So, Nick, you're getting the point. All right, guys. We're in year 3 of the Shaka Smart era. First year ended with a tough loss to Northern Iowa in round 1 of the NCAA tournament, and only 11 wins a season to go. What do you expect from the Longhorns this year, and what kind of season result should be considered a success? Joe, get us started on this one.
I've been here 3 years, and I just want to win 1 postseason game with this school. If Texas can make the tournament, they should. They've got a great coach in Shaka Smart. He needs to prove himself in year 3, and they've got a good talent now this year. They got more experience, which they lacked last year. So I think a tournament win, maybe even the Sweet 16, if they run into a good matchup, is in the future for Texas.
Sweet 16, what do you have them ranked?
Probably about a 5 or 6 seed.
5 or 6 seed, that would be impressive. Nick?
I think Sweet 16, that Joe said, should be the expectation for this team. I don't think it's good enough for Texas just to make the tournament. If that's where Texas has gotten expectation-wise, that's not a good point, or that's not a point where you want to be at if you're a Texas basketball fan, player, anyone associated with the staff. You have a coach, Shaka Smart, who had incredible success at VCU. You have Mo Bamba. You have Matt Coleman. You have another NBA talent guy in Andrew Jones who decided to come back for his sophomore season. Texas fans shouldn't just hope to make the tournament. They should hope to make the tournament, maybe, I think, a 4 seed that they're capable of, and I think they're also capable of going to the Sweet 16. Within the Big 12, I think they're capable of being a top 3 team. You obviously have the Kansas Jayhawks. You could make an argument that the Big 12 is the best conference in the NCAA. I wouldn't, but they're definitely one of the top conferences. When you have the talent that Texas does, and when you have a coach that has a history of winning, there's no reason to not have high expectations. I think Texas should expect to make the Sweet 16, maybe even further. Might be a stretch, but they should at least expect to make it and go from there.
Expect at least the Sweet 16.
Absolutely.
That's bold. That's really, really bold for a team that didn't even make the tournament last year, that only won 11 games. Kat?
Well, I'm going to be a little less bold than my male counterparts here, and I'm going to say Texas is going to be one of the most improved teams in college basketball, but I'm going to see a record, instead of 11-22, we're going to flip that around and do 22-11. I like that because, just like Nick said, Texas has all the pieces to be able to have a winning, strong season, be a competitor in the Big 12, top 3 in the Big 12, absolutely. And on top of that, Shaka has proven to be a winner at VCU. He's just having to get those pieces together here at Texas. So I see one of the most improved teams in college basketball right here in Texas.
All right, what do you have them ranked? Do they make the tournament? What do you have them ranked in the tournament?
You know, I like 6 or 7 seed.
6 or 7
Yeah,
seed.
that's my more realistic response, just because we have to understand we are also working with, even though we have great freshmen coming in and great recruiting class, they're still going to be freshmen. So we got to give that a little bit of grace right there.
That's true. And a freshman class at Texas is way different than a freshman class at Duke
or
and
Kentucky,
at Kentucky.
yeah.
Kat, you're getting the point here.
Woo! Took long enough.
Most realistic, I would say, out of anyone. I can't see them getting into a Sweet 16. I don't even know if they'll make it to the round of 32. I'd like to see them win 1 game in the tournament. You just haven't seen it yet.
Yep.
It's going to be tough. All right, guys. That's all we have basketball for now. We'll break down the Red River Showdown next on College Crossfire. Welcome back in the College Crossfire. We have a special guest here, Shaka Smart, joining the show.
Hey.
How's it feel to be on College Crossfire, man?
It feels great. I was just getting in the cart to go home after the scrimmage and saw you guys, so great to be here.
It's great to have you on, special guest. We never had a special guest like this before, so it's very, very cool to see. Very cool to have you on. So you had the Texas tip-off tonight. What's just your biggest takeaway from the game? What impressed you tonight from your team?
Well, I knew Texas was going to win, right? And then one of the Texas team was going to lose. So we told the guys before the game, hey, let's have a lot of fun with those contests beforehand, and then let's really see how competitive we can be. There's going to be plenty of things to clean up because it's October. But I thought our guys did a good job transitioning into the game and playing with good energy and spirit. Our young guys, made some great plays. I thought Matt Coleman did a nice job running his team. Mo Bamba, obviously, it was a big factor, as was Jericho Sims.
Coach, on campus here, everyone is just buzzing about Mo Bamba. Everyone is so excited about this kid.
You guys should have him on.
No, we would love to have him on. What's special about it? What's so special about it?
Well, he's a great kid. Really, all of our freshmen are. They come from really good backgrounds. Mo's really bright. And as a basketball player, he's really unique. He's got a 7'9" wingspan, so from fingertip to fingertip, which is longer than anyone in basketball right now. But he's also very cerebral as a player. He can play outside, he can play inside, so his future's bright.
What have you seen him done, like behind the scenes in practice, that's just said wow, this guy is just awesome?
Well, the thing that I've really emphasized with Mo is how much can you impact those around you and make them better. And he's learning in a lot of ways how to do that because he can block shots, he can put the ball on the floor and pass to his teammates. So he's not a one-dimensional player, but he is a freshman.
Yeah.
He's got a lot to learn still. He's got to obviously keep getting stronger, keep learning to play harder. But I think when you get him out there on the front court with Dylan Osikowski, who is a guy that I really love, the way that he attacks the game, they'll be a good twosome.
Earlier on the show, we had a question who impressed you the most from the game tonight? And the guy who won the point, Joe Morris, he said James Banks because he was really, really impressed with his defensive ability. What have you seen from James Banks, his improvement in the offseason and leading up to this season?
Well, James is a guy that, as a freshman, had some good moments, but like most freshmen, he was up and down. And I think what he demonstrated tonight is he's made some growth, he's made some progress. What I liked is he just went after every ball, and he was active. He played with a high motor, and defensively, in practice, he matches up with Mo quite a bit. And James does as good of a job as anyone defensively against Mo.
So you think that's helping him out defensively too?
I think it's helping both of them. In practice, you want competition. You want guys to have to play at a certain level in order to be successful against a teammate that's playing against that level.
All right, Shaka, thank you so much for coming on. First big-time guest on College Crossfire. Great to have you on.
Well, hopefully I can come back sometime.
Wow, great interview from Shaka Smart. We got more College Crossfire coming up next. Welcome back in the College Crossfire, the only live sports debate show on the 40 acres. We're in round 2 with our first panel tonight, and whoever wins this round advances to the finals. It's ones across the board, Nick, Kat, Joe. It's a great show so far, guys. Lie about it in front of Gregory Gym. All right, guys. It was a tough loss for Texas this weekend against Oklahoma, 29-24. Texas had the lead in the 4th, but then Baker Mayfield happened. Another year, another loss for the Texas Longhorns against its rival. But there are a lot of positives to take away from the Longhorns' performance. But how big is that gap between Texas and Oklahoma? Nick?
There's a noticeable gap, but I don't think it's as big as most people might think. Oklahoma these past 7 years have been they've outcoached Texas incredibly. I'm not talking about just Bob Stoops versus Mac Brown or Bob Stoops versus Charlie Strong. I'm talking positions coaches, coordinators. Oklahoma has had much better coaching staff, and they've had much better talent too. Now you look at it, Texas has been close against Oklahoma in the past 2 red rivalry games, but losses are losses, and rivalry games are normally close anyways. The talent that OU has had hasn't just been shown at the Cotton Bowl, but that throughout the duration of the season. However, I think Texas still has talent. They've had it for a while. They just haven't been able to get every ounce of talent from their athletes as Oklahoma has. I think Coach Tom Herman and the new staff, they're changing that. They already have the #2 recruiting class in 2018 after 2 5-7 seasons and a 3-3 start to this season. I think Texas is close to catching Oklahoma. That could be 1 season, that could be 3 seasons, but I think it'll happen much quicker than most Texas fans or most college football fans in general might think.
I like your point there, Nick. It's definitely a sizable gap, but with Baker Mayfield gone next year,
Right.
that gap's going to close a lot, and Sam's looking really good too. Kat, What about
I
you?
have to agree with Nick here. You know, there is a gap and it is noticeable, but it's not so far. We've had handful of small plays that could have been turned into victories against top schools like USC and Oklahoma, and that really did show that Texas can compete in the Big 12. And this Big 12 this year is really good, really good. It's full of talent at TCU and West Virginia, and we're going to also have to see how Texas plays against those big competitors. You know, it's going to be, even though we're 3-3, this is a different 3-3 team than we had last year. I really think that last year's 3-3 team didn't have the same fight, didn't have the same toughness as this Texas team does, and they also don't have such a quarterback like Sam Ehlinger. I really like what he's doing, and I think that the gap is smaller and that he's going to simulate his role as the years to come, like Nick said, and be able to have Texas compete once again.
Good point. I definitely think this 3-3 Texas team they've been in it in every single game. I don't think the Maryland game was as close as all the other games, but this is a team that could easily be 5-1 right now. I mean, very unlikely, but still, there's a shot for them to be 5-1. Joe, how big's the gap between Texas and Oklahoma?
I think it's a bit bigger than these two give it credit for. When you look at the game, Texas got very lucky. There were a lot of drop balls on Oklahoma's side. But when you stack up the teams side by side, Texas really only has an advantage in maybe the defensive line. When you look at Oklahoma, they have a better running game, they have a better offensive line, they have a better quarterback, they have a better pass defense, and even have better special teams. So when you look at Oklahoma versus Texas straight up, it's pretty one-sided almost.
I can see what you're saying there, but they had a shot to win. If Sam doesn't get out of the game, which we'll talk about next, they might win that game. And I do think the gap is closed. I think the only difference, if Baker Mayfield is not on the field for Oklahoma, I think Texas wins that game. Not even a contest. Baker Mayfield is the difference between Texas and Oklahoma right now. He's been amazing. Heisman candidate. Probably not going to win it. Saquon Barkley's probably got that in the bag, but Baker looks really good. So Nick and Kat are getting the points here, so they both take the lead. All right, guys, moving on. In the fourth quarter against Oklahoma, freshman quarterback Sam Ehlinger rushed out of bounds and was brought down and hit his head hard on the ground. In the broadcast, you can literally see Ehlinger's eyes roll in the back of his head. It was not a good look. He was clearly not there and was put back into the game after that. After apparently he went through concussion protocol, but was it the right call to send Sam back in there? Katarina.
You know, as a person who's suffered from head injuries myself, you know, I feel very connected and deep with this type of thing, but I really think that Texas would not put him back in if he didn't go through that protocol the right way. They have too much at stake with Sam if he was to get severely injured and too many lawsuits and stuff. So I believe that they stuck with their gut, did the right protocol, and put Sam back in the game for the right reason. And honestly, I would truly think that if Sam didn't go back in the game, we wouldn't have been as close as we would have been.
I can see that, but like you literally saw his eyes go in the back of his head. He was knocked out cold. I don't know. I don't know if it was the right decision, Joe.
Well, when you look in the short term of just Texas winning the game, I would absolutely 100% take a concussed Sam Ehlinger over Shane Buechele. But for the long term, in terms of his health and for the season going forward, and the other 3 years he has after that, I'd take that's a terrible move because you look at him and he could have just taken one more hit and he's concussed for life. He could be another David Ash walking the field.
Yeah.
And now we're down to Shane Buechele for the long term again.
No, that would not be ideal, Nick.
No, he should not have even come close to coming, and I think it was a horrible decision made by the medical staff and Coach Tom Herman to put him back in the game. He, like you said, he was out cold. He says he wasn't. He says he remembers everything, and he never once lost consciousness. He did. If you watch the replay, you saw his head smack the ground. He did not move for a minute and a half, 2 minutes until he regained his consciousness. You should never, ever put winning above a player's safety, ever. Not even a question. I don't care the state, even if it's a national championship game, which I guess Texas has experience in that too. The point is, he was badly hurt. And if the question was what helps you best your chance to win, which that shouldn't even be the question in the first place, it's not like you're throwing Josh Covey in there who's never played a down in a regular season college football game. You have a quarterback who started all of last season, who started 2 games this year. Yes, obviously Sam's the better option at quarterback and will give you a better chance to win the football game, but you never risk an injury, especially after a hit like that his head when it hit the ground. Awful decision, I think, by Texas.
Nick and Joe, you guys are getting the points. I thought it was a terrible decision. All this talk about CTEs in the NFL and college, even in high school, it's all over the country, and there's more to life than football. And this guy's got a long life ahead of him, and if it just happens because of his life is over because of a concussion he suffered when he was 18, 19 years old, that's sad, man. I just don't. I didn't think it was the right decision. Obviously, it's a big time rivalry game. Everyone wants to see Texas beat Oklahoma, but I did not think that was the right decision. A good point there by Nick saying that we got a capable quarterback, Shane Buechele.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Ehlinger put on quite the show again. 384 yards of total offense, overcame a 20-point deficit against the Longhorns' rival, and he seems like he's the only positive of the offense at this point of the season. On the other side of the ball, we already talked about earlier, Baker Mayfield, arguably the best quarterback in all of college football. Ehlinger has shown he can compete, but can he become as dominant as Baker Mayfield is now? Not this year, but down the road. Joe?
Absolutely. You know who?
Well, let me preface this question. Whoever gets this wins the round and advances to the finals.
Ooh,
Well-
it's heated.
As an Eagles fan, you know who he reminds me of? He reminds me of Carson Wentz last year,
Ooh.
a newcomer into the league. He has very little hope in terms of offensive line, no running game, and inconsistent receivers and a semi-alright defense. But look at him this year. He's got a better offensive line. There's more stability with Lane Johnson back. He's got a good running game with Garrett Blunt. His receivers have come into their own now, and he's flourishing. He's an MVP candidate. He's got touchdowns and passing yards galore. Sam has all those same tools. He's shown promises. He's shown the ability to lead this team. So I think next year, if you give him if you fix the holes in this offense, you could really see Texas flourish under him.
So is this a Carson Wentz question? Or
I know.
I'm
It's the
kidding. Sam looks very good, and I think he definitely has potential, Nick.
I absolutely think he has the potential, and it's not even on the conversation of talent. It's about the passion and grit that both of these guys play for. You have a guy like Baker Mayfield, who when he beats you on your home field, he plants his state's flag on the 50-yard line, and then before games he goes up to the other team and asks, who's your daddy? I mean, he's a guy you absolutely cannot stand if you're playing against him, especially if you're a rival team like Texas. But if you have him on your team, you love him. And say what you will about Baker Mayfield, he's a great player. Now the problem is, comparing to Sam Ehlinger, Joe kind of alluded to it, the offensive line that Baker has had and has now at Oklahoma is far different than what Sam Ehlinger has and probably will have his entire duration on the 40 acres. But I still think Sam Ehlinger, you mix his talent with the passion that he plays for. He loves this university. He grew up a Longhorn fan. Even after the game when OU won, he was walking back to the locker room. The entire Oklahoma half was chanting Texas sucks at him. He was walking by with his horns up. I mean, he loves this university. He plays with grit, intensity, passion, and he's a talented kid. I definitely think he has the capability to be good as Baker. If he can get the help, I think he will.
I think he has a really good shot, too. He's got the trash talk. He's got the fire. He's got the grit, the passion. And that's what you love to see from your quarterback. And we've seen it affect all sides of the ball. Defense, offense, even special teams. I mean, Ehlinger's affecting everybody. Kat?
I have to agree with both of my guys here. I'm not going to go as far as NFL potential quite yet and talk about how he relates to the games like that, but I'm going to say right here in terms of he truly is a player. He is a game player, and I really think he has nothing but star and Heisman potential like Baker Mayfield has. And honestly, it's really cool to see how he has become a guy that the team responds to. The team loves him. The coaches love Sam. And I really think with the pieces and the tools that he needs and can have here at Texas, he has nothing but to be great here. He's tough. Just like Nick mentioned, he's tough. If you're going to put your horns up against OU after losing, you're tough. And I really think that even Baker himself said, that's gave him props at the end of the game. So I really think that he does have the potential.
We all are in agreement here, and since we are all in agreement, everyone gets a point, and Nick had the lead. So Nick is advancing to the final round.
Oh, Nick,
see
good
what
job.
happens
Coming back.
next. We meet the new panel. You don't want to miss it. Welcome back into College Crossfire. We've got our second panel of the night. Let's go ahead and meet him. Sean Mapes, right here.
Yeah.
Sean, how you feeling right now?
Happy to be outside, battling the elements. Yes, I'm an Astros fan, not looking good, but I'm happy to be here.
Great to have you on, Sean. And the man in the middle, Arya Bastami, feeling real good right now.
I'm feeling like $100 million right now. Thank you so much.
$100 million?
$100 million. I'm feeling spectacular.
Just like
Thank you
the
very much.
Yankee salary cap.
Oh.
Jonathan, how you doing?
I'm feeling like a penny right now. If that's the case. Thanks.
Well, great to have you on, Jonathan. It's going to be great talk. The winner of these next two rounds advances to the final round to play Nick Kuholtz to win our hour-long edition of College Crossfire. So a lot is at stake here. All right, guys, let's jump into it. The Astros held a 2-0 series lead, and it seemed like they were easily on their way to winning the World Series, but The Yankees came back and dominated at home to tie the series up. Game 5 is today, and the Yankees won 5-0. Now they're up 3-2. But which team is under more pressure going into Game 6? It almost seems like an easy one here. Sean?
Is it an easy one? Because I'm going with the New York Yankees.
Wow.
Here's why. You never want to play Game 7 on the road. Game 6 is a must-win. They got the Astros have Justin Verlander on the hill. He might go complete game. He's an ace. So you want to get the series over as quick as you can. You don't want to give the Astros another game to get those bats awake. You want to kill them while they're down.
You might have convinced me there, honestly.
That's what I'm trying to do.
It's going to be a tough environment, especially at Minute Maid Park. Aria?
Mark, as I stand here, sandwiched between two Astros fans, I will say this. Magic is with the New York Yankees, and let me explain to you why. This is one of the teams, when winning 5 games at home straight, every time they've done this, they've gone to the World Series. 1979, 1999, and 2009, dare I say, 2017.
Ooh.
When the New York Yankees
Don't jinx them
beat the
now.
Houston Astros.
So you got the faith. So you think the pressure's on the Astros?
I do believe the pressure's on the Astros for this Game 6.
Win or go home for the Astros. Jonathan, who's got the more pressure?
Mark, the pressure is definitely on the Astros. I mean, you go back to 2014, SI reports with George Springer on the cover, your 2017 World Series champions. It's 2017, and here the Astros are, but they're down 3-2 when they were up 2-0. That offense, which was historic, and when I say historic, it's up there with the 1920s Yankees teams. That's how good this offense has been. And the Yankees pitchers, they have completely shut down this dynamic Astros offense. Jose Altuve, who was on fire against Boston, Carlos Correa, George Springer's been shut down. The top of that Houston order, non-existent in this series. The Yankees are basically playing with house money. Nobody expected them to be here this early. Everyone said they were a year away. Here they are. They've taken down the mighty Indians after coming through the wild card game, and now they're on the brink of taking down the Astros, who were at one point considered the best team in the league.
Aria, I know you said the Astros have the most pressure, but Jonathan brought up the point that the Astros have had the pressure on since 2015 when they were on the Sports Illustrated cover. To be the World Series champs in 2017, the pressure is super high right now. I know it's going to be tough against Verlander, but I just have to feel like Astros fans, after having that 2-0 series lead, you have to think, oh, we're easily on our way, and then they lose 3 straight to the Yankees, and the Yankees have been there before, at least as a franchise, not this current group of players. But they have that swagger to them, like Aria said. But Jonathan, you're getting the point here. I think the Astros have had the pressure on them since they were on that Sports Illustrated cover. All right, guys, the Los Angeles Dodgers are on fire. You don't have to remind me. They have not lost a single game in the postseason and have what seems to be the best bullpen in baseball. Only have allowed 3 base runners that bullpen. This team was on a historic pace, then lost 16 of 17, and are now back to their all-star break form. Question is this, easy as this. Can anyone stop the Dodgers? Aria.
Listen, I want to give you a little bit of a condolence right now for what they're doing to the Cubs. But what I will say about the Los Angeles Dodgers is that this is the team that has gone 6-0, like was stated. And this, out of 6 teams that have done this, they are one of those 6. But there's hope. Any team that has done this and has gone to the World Series has gone 2-5. And the last team that won, 1976, the Reds. There's been a lot of time in between now and 1976. So what I will say is that there's a shot, maybe for the Astros, maybe for the Yankees, definitely the Yankees. But what I'm going to say is that the Yankees, they're getting this dub tonight. They're getting the dub. They're getting the dub. I believe it.
Jonathan?
Let me just say one thing. Is that
Here we go.
Nobody, and I mean nobody, is stopping this Dodgers team. This Dodgers baseball team, they are a runaway freight train. They are the most complete team in all of baseball right now. The offense is clicking. The starting pitchers are on fire. Once you get to the bullpen, game over. Once it gets to Kenley Jansen, you got no shot. You got negative shots. Okay, that's how much faith I have in this Dodgers team. Yes, they've choked the past 5 or 6 years, it seems, but this Dodgers team is completely different, led by their Rookie of the Year, Cody Bellinger, Justin Turner, Chris Taylor, Clayton Kershaw, and at the back end, to make sure it stays that way, Kenley Jansen, nobody. Not the Astros, not the Yankees, definitely not the Yankees, and not the Yankees.
Jonathan, and you forgot to even mention Corey Seager, who's not even playing right now.
Exactly.
Didn't even play the series, and they're
dominating. They're still dominating.
It's insane. He might be their best player. Justin Turner, him and Justin Turner are the best two on that team. It's insane how they're still winning all these games, Sean.
Right. There's only one team in this playoffs that can beat the Los Angeles Dodgers, and it is the Los Angeles Dodgers. They can only beat themselves. You mentioned they went on a historic pace at the beginning of the season, towards the middle actually, and then they just fell apart, lost 16-17. They really lost focus. That's what Dave Roberts, their manager, said. They lost focus because they already had everything wrapped up. All they have to do is not get too ahead of themselves. However, if they do get too ahead of themselves, that's the only thing stopping this team. They all mention it. They're a freight train. They're unstoppable. They're strong from top to bottom. Only the Dodgers can beat the Dodgers. I'm getting a little upper-minded on you, but
Sean, I'm going with you here. I think, yeah, it's a mental thing, honestly. Kershaw, he always seems to break down. He hasn't broke down yet, and it could happen. But if it is going to happen, if the Dodgers are going to lose, it's going to be because of mental mistakes and key mistakes that they shouldn't be making. I think the Dodgers are the best team in baseball. We've seen it all year. So, Sean, you're getting the point here. All right, can't believe we are almost to the World Series, guys. Lots of great games so far, and the question is simple here. Who's been the best player of the postseason so far? That's it. That's simple. Jonathan.
I need a little something right here. A little bit of red in my beard.
Oh, dude. Oh, man. Come on.
Justin Turner has by far been the best player in the playoffs. He has been the most clutch. He gets the timely hits when the Dodgers need him, especially when he hit the walk-off against the Cubs. I know, I'm sorry. It's
tough.
It really is tough. But, I mean, and he plays a great third base, and he came out of nowhere to be almost, I believe, he's the best player on this Dodgers team. I believe he has contributed the most to the winning ways of the Dodgers this year, even more so than Corey Seager and Cody Bellinger. Honestly, it's got to be Justin Turner, and he has played like an MVP this entire postseason.
And that's one guy, like, you can never pitch to. Even if no one's on base, 2 outs, that's one guy, like, you want to be throwing everything outside just so anything, like, nothing is like he
just
can
intentionally walk him. Just intentionally walk him.
Every time. He's still dangerous on the base pass, but still, he's been very impressive so far.
Yeah, I'm going with another Dodger. They're a really good team, turns out. I'm going with Kenley Jansen, their closer. Jonathan mentioned it earlier. When he comes in, game's over. Once they're playing California Love, it's all over. He's pitched 7 innings. He's not given up a single run. I think he has 12 strikeouts. He's been unhittable. He's throwing gas on these fools. You can't stop him. Kenley Jansen's best player.
Kenley Jansen's unbelievable. Only allowed 1 base runner against the Cubs, and it was a hit by pitch. Anthony Rizzo got hit in the hands. That guy is lights out. Best closer in baseball. What about you, Arya?
All right. Let me explain why Aaron Judge is getting it. You can boo me all you want. 1939, Chris Keller, 5-time All-Star for the New York Yankees. Throw the thumb down. I see you, Frazier. Baby, where you at? Listen. Aaron Judge hit his 3rd home run in this postseason, tying Chris, a former Yankee from 1939. He's not around now, R.I.P. Chris. But what I'm saying is, this man came back. I don't care about that huge strike box. I'll put it right here. Judge, I see you.
He's also got about 70 strikeouts and 20 at-bats.
Okay, we didn't need to bring that stat.
The 3rd most strikeouts in postseason history.
And he's not even at the World Series yet.
Not even at the World Series yet.
Imagine him against Jansen.
He has been unbelievable. I'm going with Justin Turner. He's in the lineup every day. They haven't lost a game in the postseason, and he just broke my heart. Oh my gosh, that was terrible. He's the best player so far. I mean, he's hitting I think upper 300s in the postseason. Judge, I think he's been great. Kenley Jansen's been great, but a guy who's affecting the lineup every single night, it's been Justin Turner. So, Jonathan, you're getting the point. That's it for round 3. We'll be back in just a bit to find out who will be facing Nick Kuholtz in the final round. Thanks for sticking with us. Round 2 with the second panel. Let's take a look at the scoreboard. Sean with 1, Arya with 0, and Jonathan with 2. But Arya's got the real lead. Yankees are up 3-2 in the ALCS. That's all that matters. All right, guys, the Texas volleyball team is on fire. They've won 8 straight games and 24 of the last 28 sets. That really is an incredible stretch, but this is a team that has lost in the national championship game the last 2 seasons. The team added freshman Lexi Sun, who is quickly becoming one of the best players in the country. And the question is this: does Sun have what it takes to put Texas over the hump and make them win the national championship?
I think she does. I mean, they're bringing back a very similar team from the team last year. That helps, and then you add a dynamic player like Lexi Sun. It really helps. They already are undefeated through conference play. They've beat Kansas. They've really gone through the tough part of the schedule. So I think they really have a chance coming out of the conference, going to the national title. There's really no reason they shouldn't.
I mean, they really, I mean, they lost to Minnesota before the 8-game winning streak started, but I mean, they just perform very well every year, and it's honestly just like, are they going to win the national championship every year? That's the debate. They're going to be in the Final Four. They're probably going to be in the national championship. Do they win? Aria?
Listen, Lexi, on the off chance that you're watching this in Lubbock right now, I want to let you know something. You are the catalyst. You are our X Factor. Listen, she was a 2016 nominated for Best Spiker of the Year. What does an OH do? They spike the ball. She was a Gatorade All-American and All-American U.S. team for volleyball. I mean, she's done it all. So Lexi, listen, great win in Lubbock, by the way. And just want to say, throw up the X for Lexi. You're the catalyst. Thank you.
Lexi is the catalyst. I mean, obviously the best player of the team right now. Jonathan?
Yeah, like these two have said, she is the best player on this Texas team. Texas has constantly had good teams over the years. They've fallen short recently. I think the last time they won was 2012 when they had a player, Haley Eckerman. Lexi Sun reminds me of Haley Eckerman, that type of leader who just takes over games. Lexi Sun, she's a freshman right now. I think that she can end up being the best player in the country by the end of the season. I think she has what it takes to take Texas to the finals. She can do it all. She can hit, she can spike, she can block, she can just do everything, and she is going to take Texas to the national championship again, and this time she's going to finish the job.
Only as a freshman too. It's really insane. She could end up being one of the greatest Texas volleyball players of all time. All right, we're all in agreement here. Lexi Sun is the difference maker. We think that they can get over the hump this season. So everyone's getting the point. All right, news came out yesterday that an MLS team might be on the move to Austin. Anthony Precourt, the owner of the Columbus Crew, said he plans to move the team to ATX if they can get a stadium deal. If they can't get a stadium deal in Columbus, is this a good idea for the city, and will the franchise succeed? Aria?
I'm going to say this right now. This is an amazing idea for the city. I'm bringing my arms open. Come to us. Please, come to us. Austin does not have a rivalry with anybody. With anybody. There's no one. Dallas has a rivalry with San Antonio. Dallas has a rivalry with Houston. San Antonio has a rivalry with, is it Austin? No, because Austin has no rivalry. We need something. We need to get nitty gritty, and this could be it going into MLS. I want to see it happen, so listen, Columbus, I'm sorry. Austin, here we come.
Austin is a great city too. It's been a town that everyone's been wanting to move a professional team here. We've talked about baseball team, possibly a basketball team, a soccer team could be the first step to getting more professional teams. Jonathan?
See, well, I think it'd be hard for the soccer team to take prominence in Austin because of the Texas Longhorns. I do think that they would succeed. One, the Columbus Crew, they're already an established team. All you're doing is moving them to Austin, and so that's pretty much set. Another thing is that Austin is a pretty diverse city. You have lots of people coming from not only around the country, but all around the world where soccer is big. It's not necessarily big here in the U.S., but it's huge all over the world. And when you have this many international people coming in, they're going to flock to these games. They want to see soccer. And with Austin not having a soccer team, this potential Austin team could bring in more sports fans to the city of Austin. I really think it's a good idea. I think that they will succeed pretty quickly.
Texas is a hotbed, it seems like, for a lot of talent, soccer talent included. Columbus, Ohio. How much soccer talent is coming out of Columbus, Ohio? What I might add, there was a minor league soccer team here in Austin a couple years ago, played at Austin Park, Austin Aztecs. Didn't really succeed well. They're already out of Austin, but what do you think Sean?
Yeah, adding a major league here. I guess Major League Soccer isn't a major league, but it's in the name at least. I think it'll do a lot for the city. The city's a really young city, diverse city, like they said. And one thing I do not buy, though, is this whole Austin can't have a professional team because of UT football. Well, who decided that? Well, what's the reasoning behind that? Orlando, a city that is much smaller than Austin, only has 250,000 people, has the fourth highest fourth highest attendance for their soccer games for their MLS team, and they have to compete with the Orlando Magic and Disney World. I don't see how any team's going to beat Disney World. It's Orlando Magic. So really, and UT football, let me tell you, nothing magical about it. I think Austin should get a team.
It would be great to see Austin. It would be great to see Austin have a team. My only question is, where would it be? I just don't know where. Like, I don't feel like there's any room to put anything. I mean, do they play DKR? Do they play in the East Austin near Round Rock? I guess Round Rock's the most logical explanation, but I don't know. We'll see. I'm giving everyone the point here. Everyone's in agreement here, so everyone's getting the point here. This point, though, this next point, I'm making it worth 3 points. So whoever gets this point is advancing to the final round of face Nick Wolves. All right, guys, the NBA season is here a week earlier than usual, and the MVP conversation is a bit murkier because Russell Westbrook and James Harden now have superstar teammates that will likely lower their numbers. Who, in your mind, is best positioned to win the award? And the winner, like I said, advances to the final round. Jonathan?
Well, my hand is not necessarily as big as this guy.
Okay.
This one guy, Kawhi Leonard. So, and one thing that you have to think about is that MVP winners, they typically come from last year's top 3 selection. Kawhi fits that criteria. He's the only superstar on his team. San Antonio's pretty team-centered, but he's a bona fide superstar. James Harden has Chris Paul. Russell Westbrook has Carmelo and Paul George. LeBron has Isaiah Thomas when he comes back from injury. I think Giannis is still just a little bit away. I think he's too young, because another thing is that it's typically, I know last year was an outlier with Russell Westbrook winning the award as a 6th seed, but typically it's from the winners from one of those top 3 seeds, which I do think San Antonio, for whatever lack of moves they made this offseason, they're still going to be a top 3 team. And Kawhi is the leader of that team, and he is a monster not only offensively, but defensively. He is a complete player. He is the prototype of a basketball player that I would want to pick first on my team.
Kawhi Leonard, he's probably the best all-around player, besides LeBron, the best all-around player in the NBA. I don't even think it's a question. The Claw, I mean, he's really, if they didn't have Kawhi Leonard, they're nowhere near as good as they are right now. John?
Yeah, you mentioned Kawhi Leonard's the best all-around player other than LeBron. So I'm going to take LeBron, that guy. He's pretty good. Everyone knows he's the best player in the world, and a lot of times MVP isn't really, it's a very nebulous kind of criteria that involves a lot of media talk and stuff, and having Kyrie Irving leave Cleveland really is going to boost LeBron James's chances at winning this MVP award. I mean, right. I know you got Dwayne Wade, his friend, but let's be honest, he's kind of washed.
Oh, man.
We also got Isaiah Thomas, who's shorter than I am and has a broken hip, so I don't know about that. So LeBron kind of losing that superstar help. Give me LeBron. He's the best player in the world. Let's stop kidding ourselves.
He's the best player in the world, but it seems like he's really saving himself for the postseason more than anything, more than about the individual numbers. We all can agree, by far the best player, but MVP is not the best player. It's most valuable, which is a different...
This year he might have to push himself a little more without Kyrie.
That's true. Arya?
Listen, I may not have one on me, but just imagine a dollar bill here. Why? It's $1. Why? Giannis Antetokounmpo I just said it correctly. Antetokounmpo. I said it, and he should be the MVP, and let me tell you why. Listen, it's not going to be the Beard and the Brody, but why did the Brody win it last year? Because there was seemingly no other player on that team. Are you going to sit here and tell me Victor Oladipo, the man who sings now, it was the guy? That was their second best player. Giannis has no one. Don't you tell me Chris Middleton. Don't you tell me Matthew Dellavedova, okay? I don't want to hear it. Malcolm Brogdon, he's a great player, but he's got to develop. Giannis has that ability that what Russ had last year to be the only guy with production. He could do that this year with the Bucks. So give me Giannis Antetokounmpo. There you go.
Is he going to produce enough wins, though? That's the only thing. They have struggled to get those wins significant.
Yeah, if he's a 5 seed.
On all,
the Houston Astros.
Listen, we are talking basketball. I will get into that later.
If he gets a 5 seed and doesn't average a triple-double, he's not going to win.
You need a storyline. Russell Westbrook had that storyline last year.
All right,
so is LeBron.
I told the guys before the show, I'm looking for an underrated guy. The guy was not Giannis. It was actually Karl Anthony Towns.
Oh, the Cat.
I think the Cat could. I mean, he does have a lot of his teammates, but I think the Cat could be very good this year. But I like the underrated pick. Arya is advancing to the
do
final
well.
round. He got 0 points in the first round, and he's advancing to the finals.
comeback kid.
It's just like the
your hand
ALCS,
down.
guys. All right. Great job, guys, but it's Arya, like we said, Bastami advancing to the rapid fire final round. It's coming up next, and you don't want to miss it. Welcome back in the College Crossfire. It's the final round of our hour-long show at Gregory Gym. Great night and a great show so far. And it's only getting better at this point. It's a rapid fire round. The scoreboard is raised, so it's 0-0. So whoever wins 2 of these 3 questions wins the night. All right, guys, let's get started. Last weekend was the Red River Showdown in Dallas at the Cotton Bowl, which is arguably one of the best environments in all of sports. But in your mind, what is the best atmosphere in all of sports? Rapid fire, you guys can jump in. Arya Bastami, Nick Kuhlholz.
I think the greatest atmosphere in all of sports that you could possibly get, Game 7, Boston Celtics, Los Angeles Lakers. Kobe Bryant had a terrible, terrible game. I will never forget it. I was like, oh my God, Kobe, I know you broke your hands, but you're not going to do anything. Like, he's not going to get this ring. And he does. He throws the ball in the air triumphantly. Lakers fans are going in pandemonium. I'll never forget that as a kid. So I think that's one of the greatest atmospheres I think I've ever seen.
Lakers, Celtics. I mean, it's a great rivalry, too, definitely. Restored after decades.
If we're going, we want one moment here.
It doesn't have to be a specific game, but just a big environment.
I'll say, for a big environment on a yearly basis, I think it's Army-Navy.
Okay.
You can see how much it means to them, not just the atmosphere of the team that wins, but the devastation in the eyes of the team that loses. If we're talking one game in particular, I'd go the 1980 Miracle on Ice.
Okay. Oh, that's a real big one against the Soviet
After a 10-3
Union.
loss just, I think, a week before.
Right.
So,
all right, what was the best environment you've been in personally?
Best environment I've been in personally was watching Damian Lillard drop 41 points against the Dallas Mavericks. Listen, Dallas faithful, I'm sorry. It was just an amazing, like, he was crossing over everyone. Devin Harris, he literally looks like he was crying on the screen, like that, and like Dame is just crossing him up on court. It was one of the greatest things I've ever seen. It was also on my birthday. Listen, Dame
And he
Dollar,
retweeted
man.
you this week.
Listen, Dame,
And he
what do you
retweeted
have,
you.
bro? Thank you.
Oh man,
One fan.
big Damian
One
Lillard fan. All
Yes.
right, best environment you've been in. You've been in a lot of great games.
Unfortunately, the best environment I've ever been in at a sporting event is the worst night of my life, which was the Texas Rangers St. Louis Cardinals Game 6 World Series in St. Louis, Missouri. Game 5 in Arlington was incredible for me with Derek Collin throwing almost a complete game and getting the win for the Rangers, taking the 3-2 series lead heading into St. Louis. But Game 6, just when the Rangers and all the Ranger fans like myself thought they had their first World Series trophy, David Freese broke the hearts of all of us. And as much as I hate it, and I still cry to this day thinking about it, I sobbed my eyes out that night. But it was the best atmosphere I've ever been in, unfortunately.
2 great atmospheres, but I'm going with Nick here for the point on the Miracle on Ice. I think I would have loved to have been at that game. I think that was just an incredible environment. So Nick's getting us started here. All right, guys, tough couple of weeks for the NFL and its superstars. J.J. Watt, Odell Beckham Jr. suffered season-ending injuries a couple of weeks ago, and just this past weekend, Packers quarterback Aaron Rodgers broke his collarbone and is most likely out for the season. Which NFL injury is the most significant? Watt, Rodgers, or Beckham?
I think. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Undoubtedly, to me, Aaron Rodgers. What he does for the Green Bay Packers, it's noticed and it's recognized, but it's still sometimes not even to describe to the reality of how important he is and how impactful he is, not to the offense, to that entire team. There's an argument, and I'm not going to get into a big debate here, Rodgers versus Brady. I think Brady's the GOAT. But Rodgers, there's definitely at least an argument that he's in the same zip code as him. And even though he hasn't accomplished as much as Brady, he is an incredible quarterback. In my opinion, he was the best quarterback this year, and he's broken the heart of Dallas Cowboy fans as a Dallas Cowboy fans multiple times. Watt's a huge loss, and as well as Odell Beckham, but I think undoubtedly Aaron Rodgers.
Rodgers was definitely a tough loss, and like you said, you can't give him any time on the clock. Dallas Cowboys fans know that way too well.
Definitely. So since he did that, I've got to go with the narrative of Beckham, and let me explain it why. Listen, not only did I see that grotesque picture of his finger like bending back disgustingly, but this man has brought so much revenue to the Giants and to anybody watching, because as a spectator, you watch Odell Beckham or a fantasy football fan, you watch him, well, not really a fan if you're playing against him, but you watch him because, oh my God, like Eli Manning looks confused. Sorry, Eric, he looks confused. but Odell just snags it back. Everyone's going crazy, and you're watching there as a fan like, this man is absolutely spectacular. Not to say that Aaron Rodgers doesn't do the same, because he does. Sorry, Dallas Cowboys fans, really sorry. But he does the exact same. But Odell Beckham, OBJ, has changed how crazy a catch can really be, and he has broken the mold of what a wide receiver is in today's age. So I'm going to go OBJ. Plus, he's friends with Drake. I mean, come on.
Good points from both of you. Matt Flynn filled in very well for the Packers a couple of years ago, threw 5 touchdowns, got him that big contract. I think Mike McCarthy's a QB whisperer. I know Aaron Rodgers is great, but I think Odell, in terms of what he brings to the NFL and what fans are looking for, everyone seems to want to watch him because, he's a ticking time bomb too. He's a great player, but he's a ticking time bomb. Very fun to watch. So, Arya, you're getting the points all knotted up here for the last question. Whoever gets this one wins the hour-long show out in front of Gregory Gym. All right, guys, we brought this up earlier that the MLS team, the Columbus Crew, could possibly be on the move to Austin. If they did make the move, what should the team name be?
Man, I'm going to go, because if there's no room in Austin, I'm going to go the Round Rock Donuts. Why not? I mean, really, it's a huge freaking donut. Adam Richmond tried it. He couldn't even do it. The man can literally, back in the Man vs. Food days, he was eating everything and he couldn't eat the donut. Why? Because it was tough. What would this Austin team be? Tough. And I believe in that Austin team, even though they would be in Round Rock, which is technically Austin, I mean, if we're being real. So that's what I'm going to say. I'm going to say
the Round Rock Donuts.
Sponsored.
That's creative. You could get free donuts at the game to all the media. So that would be a plus.
I like the creativity. I'm not sure if a donut's a good fit for a soccer team.
I mean, we're trying to get the MLS. We're trying to get the MLS popular, man.
Assuming we'll stay in Austin, I'll go with the Austin Aztecs solely because I love the mascot of an Aztec. I love San Diego State.
Oh man,
the Aztecs. Why not? I mean, I think that's a great logo, but I think that's a great mascot too. So, and donuts, again, I like the creativity. Thank you.
Oh, not a big fan of either answer, honestly.
Jeez.
Wow.
Donuts.
All right. The Austin Aztecs failed in Austin before, so they're failing tonight. Arya Bastami's getting the win, the Round Rock Donuts. Probably never going to be a team name for any sport except for minor league baseball, but Arya Bastami gets his first win on college Crossfire with the Round Rock Donuts, something you'll never forget. We got time for FaceTime.
I'm just going to say this if we're going to do the FaceTime. Look, 82 games eventually comes down to East and the West. Pitted as rivals, they duel in full quarters to see who's the best. Or maybe OT. Keep it efficient like I was KD. Shooting percentage is so high, homie, it might touch the ceiling. Ladies and gentlemen, Damian Lillard quoted me on Twitter. I'm not trying to say that to be braggadocious. This man is my favorite basketball player. I know I'm speaking incredibly fast. Dame, on the extremely off chance you watch this, keep balling out. I love you. Your tats are sick. Your album was great. Okay? Maybe give me a feature. Who knows? Dame, come on.
Dude, Damian Lillard was definitely watching this, man. For sure.
Dame, Shaka was on. We got a show.
Damian, oh man, what a great night. Hour-long show. It was awesome. That's it for College Crossfire. Arya Bastami is the champion. Don't miss College Press Box next Monday at 9 for a recap of all sports news on the 40 Acres. Special thanks to everyone in here at Greg for making this all happen, especially to Eric Goodman. Thanks again to you for spending your Wednesday night with us. Till next time, I'm Mark Skoll Jr. Good night.